Next week, we're doing a draft special. This week, talking about some baseball. And I was even throwing a football with the baseball. Dustin, we start off with a tip. Give these guys a tip. And gals.
And gals. So, tip for this week. This is about the time of year we're going to start hearing a lot more minor league players' names. Might get called. Some of the bigger prospects are going to start getting called up. One of the guys we're going to talk about later, Gregory Polanco, definitely a guy you're going to want to keep an eye on. Yeah, just
stealing my thunder.
Throwing it in there. Here's what I want to say about it. A lot of these guys will get a lot of hype around them. If you're in redraft leagues, 10-team leagues, don't get too excited about these guys and think that they're going to be the next big thing and come into the big leagues and instantly have a huge impact. It rarely happens, but it does happen. So in some leagues, it's worth taking a gamble. Keeper leagues, dynasty leagues, obviously, you're going to want to look at those guys.
Deeper leagues. Love this in 14, 16-team leagues.
But it's that time of year. Minor league time.
It is. All right, Dustin. Give him a little ads
in all leagues. I got a couple relief pitchers for you. I want to just group them together, and that's Rondon for the Cubs and Doolittle. Nice little name for him for Oakland. Both these guys, it looks like they're going to be the closers as of now. They've been pitching pretty decent, so if you need any help with saves, go ahead and pick these guys up. If they keep pitching well, they're probably going to be the closers for the rest of the year.
If you're mad you didn't pick up K-Rod, here's some guys.
There you go.
Like I am in some leagues. All right, guy I'm talking about is Asdrubal Cabrera. He was a guy that was drafted in pretty much every league. Had a terrible start to the year. He's only owned in 70% of leagues. He's hot right now. He's playing like kind of what we assume. If he was dropped in one of your leagues, I highly suggest you go in and scooping him right now.
Let's talk about some guys in deeper leagues. Take a look at Junior Lake. Only owning about 10% of leagues. Here's a youngster that's not getting talked about all that much. Doesn't have that much hype around him, but he's someone that deserves a little bit more attention. He's playing pretty well. Any type of deeper league needs some outfield help, a little bit of speed. I think he could be a good guy to target.
All right, Dustin had a little foreshadowing, but Gregory Polanco.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely love this kid. He's my guy. My guy. Not his guy.
Who told you that?
My guy. For the Pirates, this kid is just a beast. Every time I check minor league stats, he's at the top, just doing absolutely ridiculous work. When he gets called up, I actually think he is one guy that might have a big impact when he comes up out of all of these guys that will get called. So getting him earlier so you're ahead of the curve, if you have a roster spot to burn, I think he's a good guy to snag, actually.
Guy I want to talk about is Dallas Keuchel, starting pitcher for Houston. He's getting a lot of hype right now with what he's done over his last 3 starts. The guy's been amazing. I had to put him on this list just because of what he's done recently. I'm not totally buying him though. But those 3 starts are hard to ignore. I think he missed 2 straight complete games by 1 out with his last outing. So it's hard to ignore that. Take a gamble on him if you got a free roster spot. Pick him up, see if you can keep it up. I don't think he necessarily will, but he's been pitching too good to ignore.
All right, we love some dual eligibility. Grant Green, second base and outfield, obviously, has been playing great for the Angels. He was solid in the minors. Since he's been called up, he's been playing extremely well. The only thing to caution-wise on him must add in all leagues is Cole Calhoun. Josh Hamilton will be coming back at some point, and he might not have a spot, but if he keeps this up, they're going to find a way to keep him into that lineup. If you need help at second, again, this is a guy that you should be snagging.
Got another Houston player for you, and that's Matt Dominguez. This young third baseman hasn't had that much hype around him as far as some of the other younger players in the league as far as having as much upside as he does. So he hasn't been picked up in a ton of leagues, only on a 15%, but he's starting to play pretty well as of late. He's a guy that's had some decent spurts in the past. I think he's another young guy that just deserves a little bit more attention in the fantasy world than he's getting.
Anyone that's been playing fantasy for the last couple of years in a little bit of a deeper league, you have probably owned this guy and probably have dropped him and then maybe even picked him up again, but that's Seth Smith. He's never really gotten the full accompaniment of bats, but it seems like that's currently happening. He's getting a lot more plays, a little bit older, but he's batting .339. We've always liked him. Again, deeper leagues, that's why we're saying add in deeper leagues. This is a guy that should be adding. He is only owned in 35% of leagues currently.
And next we got a Yankee turned Twin. That rarely happens, but Phil Hughes for the Twins, only on 35% of leagues. I mean, this guy came up. He was supposed to be the next big thing. All the hype was around him. Didn't work. But as of late with the Twins, he's starting to get things going. He has had success in spurts in the past. Seems like he's been around forever, but he's still, I think, only like 28 years old. I mean, he's a guy that you don't want to write off just yet. I know he's had a lot of very subpar years, but he's starting to get things going for the Twins.
All right, Dustin, the next part is what?
Guys to keep an eye on.
So I'll start it off. The first one I got is Ronald Belisario. I said it right. I had to read that twice. Could be lined up to be the closer for the Chicago White Sox, only owned in 20% of leagues. You know, he's keeping an eye on because it's not a lock he's going to get that job, but it's looking more and more like they got to make a switch there. We feel should be next in line. So again, if you didn't draft closers and you just want to be ahead of the curve against everybody else in your league, this is a great guy as a speculative ad right now.
And one more guy I want to talk about, and that is Jake Odorizzi, Tampa Bay starting pitcher. Don't wrinkle your paper until I get to talk about Jake.
I'm just waiting. I'm going slow and quietly. You get so mad. I even went quietly on purpose.
Don't insult Jake.
It's not. I went quiet on purpose. Because I knew you were going to get bitter. Such a weirdo.
43 innings pitched. Now, I'll give you the bad first, and then I'll give you the good. ERA right around 5. 23 walks in 43 innings, over half a walk an inning, but 52 Ks in 43 innings. I mean, that's the stat I'm going to talk about with him. Huge strikeout potential. If he can get the walks under control, I like his upside. Wrinkle your paper.
By the way, how good is Takana and Abreu, who I loved?
Mine was way better.
Yeah, but you threw like a little sissy. You got to give it a little oomph.
How about Michael
And
Brantley?
you dropped it.
How about Michael Brantley?
You talked about him, and he's great, and I love him, and you should trade him to me. McCutchen for Yu Darvish. Clearly not fair. I want him to throw in Brantley. Is that terrible to ask
Give him
for?
Desmond Jennings.
I don't want Jennings. Okay, McCutchen for Yu Darvish and Brantley. Fair or not fair?
It's too much. Brantley could keep
It's
this up.
not too much. That is a fair trade. McCutchen, top 5 pick, performing like that.
Brantley could keep it up.
That's a fair trade. I don't want freaking Desmond Jennings. Please comment. Tell Dustin to do the trade, and he's being stingy, as always, because that's what Dustin does.